Hi, I'm Cindi McGee, and you're watching Polymer Clay TV. Today's tutorial is inspired by this beautiful invitation that I found on Shutterstock. I'm using Sculpey Primo Purple and Sculpey Souffle Grape to create the background for my Regal Bejeweled Peacocks. I rolled it out to a setting number 5 on my clay machine. I wanted it pretty thin for the background of the veneer. And then I'm cutting it into strips about 3/4 of an inch wide. Then I'm going to alternate the strips and create the background pattern. I'm working on a ceramic tile because I'm going to leave this in place. Once I got them all in place, I'm going to use the clay roller and just roll over the surface just to smooth the seams a bit before I start the silk screening. Now I'm ready to silk screen, and I'm using my Cindy's Peacocks silk screen from createalong.com, and I'm going to use the single peacock with kind of the filigree, and I'm using DecoArt Americana Decor Multi-Surface Satin Gold Metallic Paint. It's a little thicker than some acrylics, and it silk screens really well. You want to place your silk screen colored side down. I like to give it a little roll just so that it stays in place where I want it, and then go ahead and silk screen with the gold paint. I silk screened a row of these along the center of the veneer, and then wash the silk screen immediately so that it's ready for use next time, and let that paint dry. Next, I'm using my Cindy's Peacocks border silk screen, and I'm going to silk screen with the same gold metallic paint along the bottom of the veneer, beneath the peacocks. Whichever of these borders you want, I'm going to use this one with the fan type flowers. And you want to wash that screen right away once you're finished silk screening along the bottom border. For the top edge, I'm using my Peacock texture mat from Create Along, and I have a couple of these, so that's why I've got them next to each other here. And I'm just going to place it with the texture down and roll over it to add a bit of texture to the top. I'm going to highlight that texture with some Miracle Metals, some gold powder, and I just like to use my finger, and I'm going to very, very gently rub over the surface to highlight that texture. Now I'm going to add the bejeweled effect, and to do that I'm using some hot fix crystals from Create Along, and I'm using colors inspired by that original invitation that inspired this whole project. I'm just going to add some of these crystals to the peacocks here and there. Okay, here's a closer look now at the veneer that I'm ready to make my jewelry with. I'm going to use this sort of pointed end oval cutter because I want to capture some of all three of those patterns that we've created and try to get as much of that centered peacock as I can. So I'm going to cut out 3 of these to make pendants. I also want to make some earrings, so I'm going to use a smaller version of the same cutter and cut out some sections from this bottom piece for some earrings, and then a small circle cutter and cut out some more of the textured area at the top. I wanted to add a little dimension to these, so with some of my scrap, I went ahead and textured it with the same Peacock texture mat and used that same gold Miracle Metal powder over the surface. And I'm going to cut small strips and add them near the top and bottom of my largest ovals with the peacocks. Trim those off. I did add a few of the hot fix crystals to 2 of the small ovals for my earrings, and I folded my circles in half and inserted an eye pin. This is going to be part of the top of the earrings. Now I'm going to bake all of these pieces according to the manufacturer's instructions. Once they were baked and then cooled, I backed them all with some textured gold clay, textured with the same peacock mat, and created some bails for the pendants. I also added a small strip of textured gold clay around the outside edge of the pendants. For the earrings, I used some Deckwart metallic luster around the edges, and I added a small textured gold clay bead. For more inspiration, join our Polymer Clay Tribe Facebook page. Over 17,000 members sharing projects every day. For lots more creative polymer clay ideas, visit the Polymer Clay TV blog.